So today I am doing my update to my last drugstore haul. Now, how I like to do it on my channel is when I do a drugstore haul, I like to really put these things to the test and give you an update a few weeks later. That way you're not just seeing a bunch of items and never hearing how they performed. So I will link the original haul video down below, but let's get into the mini reviews on all of these products. Let's talk about Essence first. I like a lot of things from Essence. I think they have some amazing items, and then I think they have a lot of duds. And I have definitely for sure one dud for you. So this is the Say No to Dark Circles, I guess concealer. It's not really called, yeah, color correcting concealer. It does say right on it, perfectly conceals dark circles. And if you know me, you know I have really, really bad dark circles. They are especially bad today, by the way. And even though I'm using like my most loved corrector on them, they're still coming through. So you know I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this kind of stuff. This is weird. Now, for one thing, it is not peach. It's very pink, and it's very light pink. So it's really not going to do much to correct like very dark circles. If you have maybe lighter circles, you just didn't get a really good night's sleep, this might be okay for you. But if you have hereditary dark circles, this is not going to do anything for you. You can see it blends so much that it almost blends away completely. Like, where did it even go on my hand? It just doesn't do much for anybody. The consistency of it is okay. I would say it's slightly drying overall, but overall, even though it's a very affordable product, just save your money altogether. This isn't really going to do anything for you. Also from Essence, this gel eye pencil, and it does say waterproof. I used this only a couple times. I feel like I could get a really good idea just from using it once or twice how it performs. It's super creamy, it's super black. It didn't really work well for me in my waterline, but I have very watery eyes, just very watery waterline, and it didn't really stay for me. I tried it as a tight line also, but it did transfer. So even though it says waterproof and it's a gel liner, it really wasn't the best. If you don't have any issues with watery eyes and you don't have issues with pencils staying in your waterline, I think you would like this, and because it's so black, it's nice and creamy, and it's a really good price. So, but if you have my issues, it's not going to do it for you. This, however, from Essence, I think is awesome. This is the Make Me Brow, and obviously it's their play on the Gimme Brow from Benefit. It is a tinted brow gel, and it's got a teensy tiny little wand in there, so it really fits well in your brow area without making a mess. It's just a really nice tint. It does come in two colors. This is the darkest one. This was a really good match for my shade of eyebrows, and it does have little tiny fibers in it as well, so it just thickens your brows too. I really enjoyed this. It did not make a huge mess like a lot of brow gels do. It's got that little nice tiny one, and come on, the price for this, I think it was like $4 compared to like Benefit Gimme Brow, which is like 30-ish. It's crazy. Just go for this. It's really, really good. It lasts all day, kept my eyebrows in place, gave them that nice thickened, darkened look. Really enjoyed this a lot. Couple things from Maybelline I found really hit and miss. This is the Master Color by Face Studio Face Contouring Kit, and this is in the shade light to medium. There is a deeper one as well. I'm very iffy on this. For the price tag, I would say don't waste your money. I think the contour shade is decent. It makes a decent contour. It's not superly pigmented, so I guess it just depends on what you're looking for, like how deep of a contour you want. But for a natural contour, I thought it was pretty good. The blush is just kind of like whatever. It's just a light pink, nothing special. It is a matte. I didn't find that it lasted all that well throughout the day, so I wasn't like overly, you know, happy with it. The highlight, I've heard people say they really like it, but to me it was just very chalky. It didn't give me as much as I wanted. I mean, you can barely see it doing anything on my hand there. Like, I am the kind of person who likes a really standout highlight, as you can tell from what I'm wearing today. This is the new Jaclyn Hill Prosecco Pop, by the way, but I like a really bang. Give me a bang. What am I even saying? I like a really intense highlight, and I suppose if you're looking for just a very natural highlight, you might like this. For me, it wasn't really for me, but I did like the contouring powder quite a bit. Also from Maybelline, I tried the Master Conceal concealer in 20 Light, and I have very mixed feelings about this. A couple reasons. I really like the texture. I think it really compares to like Urban Decay concealer, maybe even like the way the MAC concealer feels, like the Pro Longwear concealer. That kind of consistency. It's nice and creamy, but not too thick, you know? So it's still like, it's not gonna cake up. And you can spread it out really nicely. It blends out really, really well. My issue with this is that it doesn't play well with certain products. So depending on what foundation I was wearing, what powder I put on top of it, I would have good and bad days with this. So I still need to experiment quite a bit more to kind of nail down which products this works with. And if you're the kind of person who just wants very easy makeup, like you want it to work with everything, this is probably not for you. But when it worked, the stuff it worked with, it worked really well. I really liked it. So it's still kind of up in the air for me. This is really, really great. This is the Joe Fresh blush, and it's just called blush, and it's just in the shade pink. Very straight up, like very to the point. Joe Fresh is a Canadian company, if you weren't aware, but I've heard from some of my American subscribers that you can find them here and there in the States. This blush is fantastic. Number one, it's just a really pretty pink with just a tiny bit of sheen to it. But what I love about this the most is its lasting power. It lasts all day. Like, I like to reapply blush usually halfway through the day if it's kind of, you know, going away. Some blushes do that and you need to revive them. This was like going strong through a full like 10-hour day. I really, really like this. Nice and soft too, and beautiful packaging. Like, look how pretty it is. It's really pretty. Okay, we're about to get into some iffy territory right here, because I have pros and cons to a lot of these things, and none of these I love overall, but I'll tell you my thoughts on them. Okay, so here's the two new Revlon brushes that I picked up. This is the blush brush, and this is the crease shadow brush. These are not soft. They're not like pleasant really to put blush on with. It's kind of hard and scratchy. This crease brush, same thing, like the bristles feel very much the same. This I did not like as a blush brush. I thought I might because of the size of it. Like, it's a really nice size for a blush brush, but it didn't blend very well. And these are not cheap, you guys. I don't know if you've seen these in your local drugstore, but they are not cheap. So I think this was like $20 or something. Like, honestly, I have no affiliation with Morphe as a YouTuber, but I think Morphe brushes are really, really good. And the price you pay for those is significantly less, and you get a really awesome brush. And of course, there's a lot of other good ones, like Eco Tools is a really good drugstore brand. You know, Crown Brush. There's a lot of really great brush brands out there that are really affordable. And it sucks that, you know, we start to see more brushes in the drugstore and they are disappointing and still a high price. Like, I'm very disappointed, Revlon. Honestly, I am. This, not great, but I will say, I tried it with powders, like hard, not hard, but like pressed powders, and I think it actually worked pretty well for those. It really did do a good job in like picking up powder evenly and dispersing it. So I actually liked this as a powder brush. This is a crease brush. I don't know. It's not as fluffy, and it's very short. So I think, you know, it's only going to be good for very detailed crease work, something you don't need to blend out very much. Maybe if you're doing like a cut crease or something like that, where you want a little bit of definition still, this would be okay. But, you know, I don't want to have to think about things that much when it comes to my brushes. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be more easy than that. So not a huge fan of the Revlon brushes. Will definitely not be buying any more of them. This flower, what is it even called? Double Take Eye Mark Cream Eyeshadow in Lovely Lilac. I don't really get this product. For one thing, okay, this is the eyeshadow. It's a cream eyeshadow. It has a little doe foot. You know, it's very weird the way it applies. It's very patchy. It's very watery. So it doesn't apply evenly. Now, what you can do with it though is once you get it on your lid, you can kind of blend it out with your finger. And what it does is it does set to a powder. So I did find that I liked it once it's set to a powder. And by the way, there's like no shimmer in it at all, which I thought was kind of surprising for this. It was completely matte. It dried completely matte, which was fine. It wasn't my most favorite thing in the world. It's a little too much. Like, if I want a matte shadow, why don't I just go get a matte powder shadow? You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to fuss with this. This doesn't do anything amazing enough to have to go through this whole process. You know what I mean? The other side to this is this eyeliner marker. Now, I actually was surprised with this. I thought it actually did a pretty decent job. It can be built up. It's not the most pigmented thing in the world, but you can kind of build it up to get it a little bit blacker. The problem with this though is if you have any lines at all, it will bleed into them. So just be aware, if you have perfect, smooth eyelids, you'll be fine. But if you have any lines, it's gonna bleed all over the place. And that's not so great. So I was actually surprised at how much I didn't like this one. This is from Gosh. It's the Forever Eyeshadow Metallic Eyeshadow Stick in waterproof. And I thought I was going to love this because it is very pretty when you swatch it. Like, it's very beautiful metallic-y taupe, but it just, to me, didn't really do anything on my eyelids. I find a lot of the time when you have a stick and it has that reflectiveness to it, you kind of see the drawing lines in it, if you know what I mean. Like, you can see those lines. So you actually have to like really kind of blend it out, like tap on it a lot to not get those lines showing, if that makes sense. So, you know, I tried it with by itself, I tried it with eyeshadow over it. It was just okay. What I do like this for though is like an inner corner highlight. I think it's actually pretty easy to just pop right there and you're done, you know, kind of thing. But again, this is not the cheapest drugstore thing. So for $14, and I can only really use it to do an inner corner highlight, not really the best thing in the world. So the CoverGirl Oh Sugar, and this is in Punch Cocktail number 6. These are the new like tinted lip balms. The smell comes and goes on this, which is weird. It's almost like sometimes I can smell it, sometimes I can't. When I can smell it, I like it. It's kind of a lemonade smell. This tint, like this shade, is pretty right there. I like the tint on it. I find these very gritty though. And for something that's supposed to be a moisturizing lip balm, I don't want any grit at all in them. And I hope you guys know what I mean. There are some lipsticks I find that are, if they're more on the slippery side of things as opposed to the creamy side of things, you feel like a grittiness in them. They're not smooth. And I'm sure you guys have experienced that before, so maybe you know what I'm talking about. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but overall I found it was pretty gritty, so I didn't really want to use it. I mean, if I want a lipstick or a sheer lipstick, I'll just use a lipstick. And if I want a lip balm, well, I'm just gonna use a lip balm that has no grit in it. So I didn't really like this all that much. Although if you are on a budget, I think it's pretty, like, it's pretty decent. I'm not gonna bash it completely. I think it's a decent product. It does look nice. It does smell nice. It's just not my preference for texture. So just be aware of that. So I have 3 things from Hard Candy. One is a total fail and the other 2 I really, really loved. So Hard Candy is a brand that I find very hit and miss. And when they hit big. And when they fail big. Like, I find with this brand, there's not a lot of in between. So let's just talk about the fail first. This is the Hard Candy Fast and Fabulous Translucent Finishing Powder. This, like right on the package, it was like, it said something like for oily skin, for matte, stay matte all day. This is very like hard pressed. Even on my finger, you could probably see, like, it's very chalky. You see how it kind of comes up like that? It does not translate well onto your skin. You have to pick up a lot of product even to get it on there, and you have to rub your brush in here to even pick up product. And even then, it's just not a great powder. It just doesn't mattify all that long. I would say stay far, far away from this. There are far better powders out there for you. Don't waste your money. But these 2 products from Hard Candy I actually really liked. Now, this is gonna depend on your eyelids. This is the Hard Candy Eyeshadow Primer, Eyes the Limit. This is not a sticky, tacky eyeshadow primer. So it's not like a MAC Painterly. It's not like an Urban Decay Primer Potion. You know how those stay a little bit tacky? This one doesn't. This is very silicone-y. It's very smooth. You have to work it in. You have to like work it in. It gets kind of patchy at first, but as long as you kind of rub it and work it in, it gives a very smooth, very like silky feeling. And whenever I use this, my eyeshadow lasted all day long, no creasiness. It was really fantastic. So I think if you have really oily eyelids, and funnily enough, my eyelids are like the one part of my face that aren't oily. so I'm okay. But if you have oily eyelids, it probably wouldn't work all that well for you. But I think if you are fine, if you have normal eyelids, if you're good with like a smoother and non-tacky kind of eyeshadow primer, you would probably like this. And this is like, there's so much product in here. I use this so much, 0.46 of an ounce. I use this so often, and it still seems like it's absolutely full. So, and it was not that expensive. So you can get great value out of this. And last but not least, this Hard Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer Mist. This is supposed to, it says on it, energize and hydrate skin. I don't know about energize, but I did find it hydrating for sure. I like the dispenser on this. It's very fine mist, and it kind of smells to me like coconut. I love the Hard Candy Fast and Fabulous one. It's in a black bottle, and I've loved that one. It smells like cucumber. Love that one for a long time, so I'm not surprised that I like this. I think Hard Candy does setting sprays very well. And I think it kind of gives that, you know what MAC Fix Plus does to your skin, where it kind of like takes away the powderiness, and it kind of makes your blush, highlight, foundation kind of all meld as one. It does that for you as well. So if you are looking for a much more budget friendly kind of Fix Plus, this is not exactly like Fix Plus, but it's gonna kind of do something very similar for you. Okay guys, so there's all the updates. I think, again, a lot of hit and miss. That happens a lot with drugstore. I don't think you can expect everything to be incredible from the drugstore, which is why I'm here, to tell you what is good and what to avoid. So I hope that this really helped you, and thanks for spending time with me today. That's it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye.